Alright, hi. Let's talk. There's going to be a pinned comment at the top of this video that sums up the very key points to take away from this video if you don't want to listen to me rambling for however long this is. This is now my fourth attempt recording this video, and it's mainly because I keep going off-piste and trying to keep things focused, and it's not working. So I'm going to just record this, chop anything out that I think is not necessary, and hopefully by this point, it flows really well. But what I want to do in this video is try and preempt some questions I'm going to be getting as I change some of my content flow over the next couple of months. The key thing to take away, if you want to hear the main message and turn the video off, fair enough if you do, but, I would appreciate you listening, or at least reading the pinned comment if not. But the key thing is, I'm going to start doing videos on other games on this channel other than Payday. That's not going to be instead of Payday, it's going to be as well as. I'm going to get into all my thoughts as to why and explain things clearly, but I want to make sure that that's known. And if you're sat there hearing me say I'm going to do videos on other games and you're panicking more than an old man in the middle of a Tesco, don't worry, honestly, it's fine. I am going to keep making the Payday content. That's not going anywhere, but for the sake of myself fulfilling my kind of creative side mentally and everything else, I need to do videos on other things, because right now, solely focusing on Payday on this channel is doing me more harm than good. That's the key message to take away from this. So if you want to know nothing more than that, just know you're going to see other content from me, and I'd love it if you gave it a chance. I will explain why I think it'd be a good idea and all that other stuff as the video proceeds, but that's the core message. So, first off, what is happening? Let's explain it a little bit more. What I'm going to be doing is keeping the same amount of Payday content. I'm going to be making the news videos whenever there's something worth talking about, as soon as I can make it, whether it's a dev blog or an update or anything in between. As before, if there's something I think is worth reporting, I will put that video out there, and that's not going to change. I love Payday as a franchise. I deeply, deeply love it. I've loved it for about 10 years now going on, and I'm so grateful for everything it's given to me and the audience. Most of you guys here are watching because of Payday. I don't know how many of you are stuck around from before the Payday times. If you have, let me know in the comments. I'd love to see a couple of old usernames pop up, but you get the point. I'm very grateful for the game. I love the franchise. I really do. However, I don't think anyone's under any illusion. There's very few people at the minute who are enjoying Payday 3, and then people who aren't have either gone back to Payday 2 or have stopped playing Payday. And as it's quite obvious, I think by this point, I'm in the latter of those groups. I said once I finished Payday 2, I would go to Payday 3, and if that didn't work out, I was going to move on to a different game. And actually, something I hadn't said publicly at all was in the middle of last year, I had decided in my head that if Payday 3 did not take off, if something went wrong, I was going to quit. And I decided it with full confidence in my head that I was going to stop doing YouTube, maybe still do the streaming, but just give up on making videos. And the only reason that I haven't done that now is because I really don't want to stop doing them. I thought I did, but the more I thought about it as Payday 3 started going down the toilet, to put it bluntly, the more I thought, no, it's not YouTube that you're tired of, it's the negativity. It's getting tired of the only thing you put out being negative. Life has got positivity and negativity. I don't need to get all philosophical about it, but unfortunately the balance has been far too tipped towards the other side for a while, and that's part of the thing that's moved it on. The other thing that's moved it on is that in January, I made a video on my second channel, Troy's Thoughts, talking about Baldur's Gate 3, and that video contained a 40-second highlight reel right near the start of my first full playthrough of the game. And I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that I had more creative fulfillment and enjoyment making that 40-second clip than I have in any Payday 3 video I've made in the last 2-3 months. That sounds blunt, but it is the honest to God truth. I honestly cannot think of a single Payday 3 video in the last 3 months I've enjoyed as much as that. And on top of that, the thing that really made me happy, and I'm going to try and find the comments and put it on the screen because I want to shout you out because you really have helped me here process things mentally. Someone commented on one of my Payday 3 videos recently saying that instead of Payday 3, they were playing Helldivers 2 and Baldur's Gate 3. And I replied saying, Baldur's Gate 3, great choice. And they came back and said, it's because of your review that I bought the game, and I absolutely love it. And it reminded me of what it's like to talk about things that I really love and the positivity that can spread, because I haven't had that for a very long time with Payday 3. And I know the other question is going to be, well, if you're talking so much trash about Payday 3, why don't you just stop making Payday 3 videos? It's because despite all I've said about it recently, I still love this franchise. I'm so grateful for everything it's given me, and I want to see this through to the end. Now, that end can go two very different ways. It could end up that after the 12-18 months of support it's supposed to have, the game crashes, burns, dies, we never talk about Payday again. It could happen. It sounds bad, but it could happen, realistically. Or it turns into the next Payday 2 and we get 10 years of content, people come back to the game and they love it. It could go either way. But whatever happens, to the best of my ability, I want to see it through to the end. I love Payday as a franchise, and I really think, at the end of the day, I put so much love in, as a lot of you do in the comment sections, because we know it can be better. And I'm hopeful that over time, that will happen. I do Payday videos because I love them, but the love I feel for it is so muted right now that I want to put that time into something else that at least I can make that's positive, put out there, and enjoy the conversation on something different for a little bit. When you're at a point where you haven't played a single Payday 3 heist in all of 2024 to completion, which is where I'm at, you know you've got to rethink things. That's not a joke. I logged on once with my friends in January. We didn't even play a heist, we just turned it off. And then I went to play it a little bit later on my own solo and got thrown out because of a server issue. If that doesn't sum up Payday 3 problems, I don't know what does, but I just couldn't be bothered finishing the heist, and I loaded it back up again, and the game crashed, and I went, that'll do. And I know that harmed my most recent Payday 3 video talking about Update 4, where I skipped over the skills and said I didn't want to comment on them. Again, I didn't enjoy doing that, and I mentioned that in the video I put up today. I'm recording this on Friday, but I mentioned in my Adaptive Armor video that I didn't enjoy doing that because I want to be able to offer thoughts on everything all together, but I just had so little memory of the skills of Payday 3 from how long it's been since I played, and the updates hadn't done enough to bring me back that I just had to hold my hands up and say, do you know what? I ain't got the context to offer on this, so I'm going to let someone else do it. And I knew there'd be other creators out there that covered that bit. It'll be a one-off. I really hope by the next time there's an update, I will have played the game again and will have the context to offer. I genuinely do think it'll have been a one-off. But that in and of itself was enough to have alarm bells ringing in my head to be like, you've got to make the move, and you've got to make it now. I feel like I'm one of very few YouTubers that actually enjoys reading their comment sections, or at least makes a habit out of doing it. But even my comment sections now are so negative, it doesn't really matter whether I'm saying about good or bad things for Payday 3. The comment sections are always negative. No one cares about the game. No one wants to talk about it. People are more just here because they can't look away like it's a car crash or something. That energy of that positivity and love is all gone, and that's why that comment that I got about my Baldur's Gate 3 review actually persuading someone to buy the game and really enjoy it, those comments, I just don't see them on my main videos anymore, and I want to try and make some content that brings that love back. I really do, so that's a big driver for me. So let's talk a bit more about what this content's going to look like and why I think that you guys might enjoy it if you give it a chance. Because I'm well aware that Payday audiences are super loyal. They will watch Payday and only Payday, and they don't care about much else. It's true for nearly every other Payday YouTuber under the sun. You make anything else, most people don't tend to bother. And that's fair. You got a niche. I'm glad that I've got one at all, let alone that it's as good as it is with Payday. However, over the last year or so, I've made a very conscious effort to insert myself more into the content. Rather than it just be, let me record 20 minutes of gameplay and put my disembodied voice over the top with a couple of PNGs with news updates, let's actually have me being there, either reading it live and chopping and changing things, and not even having gameplay at all, or just it being me on the full screen talking about Payday. And especially when I started making the full screen videos, like some of the rants, and people still watch them, that was what said to me that putting my face in there and making it a part of the content didn't make it worse, it made it more unique to me. And that's what I'm going to bring into other videos. It's going to be very similar to what you've seen from Payday 3 for me for the last year or so, but just with other games. So if you enjoy the style of videos I've made and you're interested to try some other stuff, whether it's a game you've not played and you'd like to see more of, or whether it's something that you are already a fan of and want to hear my thoughts on, anything in between, it's going to feel very similar to Payday's content. That is my goal going into this, and that's why I hope you guys will give it a chance. If you don't want to, totally fair, you came for Payday, you stick for Payday, I got you, it's fair. But I would love it if you guys could give it a chance. But there's going to be 3 stages to this content. First stage is a stage we're already at, Payday content. Whenever there's news, updates, anything in between, I make videos on them. That's not changing. That's not going anywhere. I'm sticking with it until the end, as I've said. Alongside that, though, in between Payday 3 content, to the best of my ability, I'm going to put up videos on other games. There is no guarantee to frequency. I've tried this on the second channel and failed every time I've promised a frequency, so I'm not going to give you one here because I just don't think it's fair. But there will be videos and other things in between. If I suddenly think, do you know what? I'm going to make a news video on, well, let's stick to the example. Let's do a news video on Baldur's Gate 3's newest update. I'll turn the camera on and do that and try that out. I've got a couple of ideas for video essays as well that I really want to do, but I also want to take suggestions from you. This section is very much you focused. Let me know in the comments below what games you want to see me play and talk about, because I really will welcome the suggestions. I would love some recommendations, especially from the people who've given me the platform that I've got. I really will value them and take them into account. And the third and final thing is something that's not necessarily new, but something that I've lost touch with a little bit recently, and that's interviews. One of the things I've loved most out of all the YouTube stuff I've done over the last nearly 10 years is interview content. Mostly for actors, sometimes for composers, and just getting to talk to people involved in the entertainment industry is something that deeply fascinates me. I love having that back and forth relationship with people and being able to discuss things, and I thoroughly enjoy it and thoroughly miss it. The last one I did that was non-Payday was for Sonic Frontiers with Mike Pollock, who played Dr. Eggman, and that video did great, and I really miss doing some other interviews. So I will say now, without confirming any names, I think I might have announced one around the time. I'm working on announcing it very soon, unless anything happens, but I'm not going to confirm anything right now. All I will say is that I have got several interviews I'm in discussions with arranging, and I'm hoping to put those out soon as well, or at least news about them, so keep an eye out for those too. So it's going to be the usual Payday videos you've come to expect, new videos on other games that you will not have seen me talk about before or want to see me talk about more if you've seen the Baldur's Gate video, and more interviews, more episodes of the podcast, the Redcast, where I interview people in the entertainment industry. This channel is just going to have more on it on top of Payday, and I honestly think it's going to make it a much better channel overall. I think it's about time that I gave some love to other games, because it's what I started this channel doing back in 2014. I wouldn't go back and watch these videos. They're absolutely awful. But I had that vision of doing anything I wanted whenever I felt like it. And it was back when I didn't have a big audience and didn't have to think much about algorithms and what will do well and what won't do well, what's worth the time, what's not worth the time. No. As far as I'm concerned, now is the best time to do that again, to experiment, to try things out and see what works, just so that no matter what happens, I've always got something to look forward to. I think it's something that's really important to me and something that I really need to make sure that I maintain going forward. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure that whenever I'm working on this channel, I'm always working towards something that I will enjoy. And if it's not Payday, if it's something else, or if it's not something else, is Payday, whatever it will be, it will fluctuate. But I'm going to do my best to make as much as I can on here that I can be truly proud of and that you guys will enjoy. And I should also mention at the end of this, as we begin to wrap this up, that it is important to mention I do have other channels other than Red Archer Live. If you want to see my live streams that I've done on Twitch on a VOD channel, there is the Red Archer Live VODs YouTube channel. All previous Twitch live streams, I'm getting better at uploading them more reliably now, usually within about a day of them airing. There's also Troy's Thoughts, which originally was a non-gaming channel. I changed it to non-Payday. It's going back to being non-gaming, so I'll talk about TV and movies over there whenever I feel like it. And then there's also Who's There, a Doctor Who podcast. I haven't mentioned it in a while, but it's my weekly Doctor Who podcast that I do with a fellow Doctor Who YouTuber known as Crispy Pro. It's always been weekly. That's been the most reliable thing I've done in a very long time. So if you want to hear me talk about Doctor Who in particular, you can head over there as well. So plenty of things you can see from me, but I just wanted to make this video to make sure that when I start uploading random other videos, people don't go, has he given up on Payday? I haven't, but my morale is so low with it right now, and with the comment section and thoughts and feelings around the game, that I've got to do some different things in the meantime. I really hope that I can look back on this video in about 12 months time and see that Payday 3 really did get better. But for now, while things are so low, I need to make sure that I'm prioritizing a little bit more about what I want to do rather than what I should or shouldn't be doing, what I should or shouldn't be focusing on. So thank you all for watching. I greatly appreciate it. I hope you enjoy the new, refreshed and more diverse Red Archer Live going into 2024. I really, really appreciate you all sticking around and supporting me. And whether you just stick with the Payday stuff, whether you try out some of the new stuff and don't fancy it, or even better, if you try it out and find out that you like it and want to be more involved with stuff, thank you regardless. I really do appreciate it. I'll see you all very soon with some new content. Like I said, I'll try and get some interview news out soon. As soon as I can get it out there, I will push it out there. But apart from that, thank you all for being here. I really do appreciate it. It means the world to me. And I'll see you all soon with some new videos. What will they be? Who knows? It's all in the open, and I really am excited about that. Thank you all for watching. See you soon.